welcome back to My Slice of Heaven. I'm Chris.
I'm Joey.
And today we're going to do a recap of last year's, of 2020's goals. So we had, was it 6, I think?
6, yep, 6 goals for 2020.
6 goals for 2020, and some we succeeded on and some we didn't. So we wanted to do a video to recap that so you all can see how well we did. All right. Our first goal for 2020 was to get the electric in. We were tired of lugging the generator around. We were tired of the loud generator, and we knew we'd have to talk to the guy from the electric company. I know we were hoping we could keep that tree up there by the gate.
Yep.
So that's what we were hoping for. How did we do?
I think we did pretty good. We started making plans to have our electric put in early May. We had a few setbacks, family stuff going on. We couldn't get back to the property until mid to late June, I think it was.
Sounds about right.
And so we originally talked with an engineer, electrical engineer that designs the electric lines, how they're going to come in and such. Talked to him the first weekend of May. Told him what we wanted. He said that sounded great. He just said, basically he said we had to do a few things before you get started, like clear that road up there. And if you haven't seen that video, I will post that right here. It's just a short road coming off the main road into our driveway. We had to widen the road in some spots a little bit more because they needed a 30-foot easement for their electric line so they could always get back here and work on it. And since we already had the driveway, which was about 16 to 20 feet, he just told us that that would basically be good enough since we were going underground. So we just had to come right down the middle of the driveway. Well, as you can see behind me, they let me back up a second. We did meet with the engineer quite a few more times. He gave us other suggestions. Our original plan was to come down the driveway because we did not need an easement from any of our neighbors. The next time we met with him, he changed that, told us we did. And then he gave us some other options. Since we had to talk to the neighbor anyway, there was a couple areas that could have been closer and less costly to us. So after we talked to our neighbor the one time, we got the easement paper signed by him. He told us it was okay. Well, we gave him 2 options. He wanted the lesser intrusive option, which to us was completely understandable.
Although it was more expensive for us, we totally understood
yes.
our neighbor's perspective and respect that.
Yes. So he chose the lesser option. So after I went back, had the electric engineer come back out, he gave us other options. One of the options was come straight down this hill behind us. And when we originally talked to him, he said that we would have to leave it open. And we did not want a wide open path going straight up the hill. So then after we talked to him the next time, he said, no, since we're going underground, we could just let it grow up. So we went back to the neighbor, asked him about that option. We had already called our neighbor like 4 times and texted him like 4 times trying to get this stuff worked out. To us, we felt like we was bothering him. And then after talking to our neighbor, the neighbor said, well, you should get something in writing that says you can let that grow back up. So I went back to the electric engineer and asked him, hey, can we have that in writing that we can grow that back up? He told us no. I said, okay, well, we're not going to do that option then. I was like, I asked him, I said, I don't see the problem if you said we can let that grow up. And he says, well, we're not going to block our access to get into your property to check our lines and stuff. So we said, okay, we're not going to do that route. We went back with our original route, which came down the driveway, was less intrusive to our neighbors, and they finally started that in late December. So they started late December. We had some rain and snow.
Right.
And that put them off until like mid-January. They came back in and finished it, and you can see the electric box right behind us. Now we still cannot plug into it yet. That is just the main electric coming from their power poles to our property. We still have to put in a panel that we can plug into.
But that's going to be done in the next couple weeks.
Yep, that'll be done here soon. And I think that's all we have for the electric.
Yep, so we're calling that a win.
Yes, we're calling that done. about the big tree at the beginning of the road. We wanted to leave that, and since we went underground, we can leave that tree.
Yep, we were able to save the tree.
We was able to save the tree. I think that covers the electric.
Yep, that's goal number 1.
So we can mark that off our list.
All right. Ready for goal number 2?
Sure, what is that?
It was to move the camp area from the lower area at the bottom of the hill to the upper area at the top of the hill and above where that spring was always running water into it.
Yes. And did we complete that goal?
Let's find out.
All right. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted. All right. We got the camper behind us, and we did get the camper up to the upper area, which was originally our food plot. But we leveled it out a little bit for the camper. If you remember, we used to have it down the bottom of the hill, which was a beautiful spot, by the way. It's just hard to get the camper down that hill.
And it always had the water running in if we weren't keeping the one spring diverting off the road.
And as far as money-wise, for the stuff we have to do, pole barn, shed, road, it was just more cheaper. That's not the word I'm looking for, but that's the word I'm going to use to put it here. It's about 800 feet off the road, the entrance from the driveway.
Right.
Instead of a quarter mile.
Well, we knew that the house was going to go up here.
Yes.
And we were putting the electric up here.
Yes.
So if the electric's up here,
hey, let's move the camper
the camper
up here.
needs to be up here.
So there's not much more to say about that because I don't know why, but we did do a video on that back in the spring. So you guys had already really knew the camper was up here.
Yes, we did that almost right away because there was no cost to it and it was simple.
And we had to bring the camper back, and it was just easier to put it here instead of back down the bottom of the hills and pull it back up here.
That is true. We did take the camper home last winter, didn't we?
Yes, we did. So what's third on our list?
All right, third one on our list was to clear the area for the pole barn and to put in the post for it.
Yep. There's not much to show you on that one.
No.
We did not get to that. We did a little bit of clearing, but like I said, we had some stuff going on and didn't get out here as much as we wanted to early in 2020.
Correct. But we did buy a tractor, which gives us more reason to need a pole barn because now we have 2 large pieces of equipment just sitting out in the weather.
Yep, and you can see our tractor purchase video right here in this corner. So I think we're moving on to the next goal.
All right, goal number 4. Goal number 4 was to put in some culverts. We wanted to put in some culverts down the road leading towards the pond, that really wide area. We had put one in and it totally messed up.
It got worked out.
As well as where I was just talking about that spring that runs down the hill if we're not careful. We were also looking at putting a culvert in that area as well. So let's see how we did on that goal.
All right, let's go. Well, guys, we just said 4.
We're on number 4. We're on number 4.
Number 4 was the culverts. As you can see, we're sitting on the culverts. So they never got installed.
Nope. It wasn't a financial issue on this time. It was just a time issue.
Time issue, because like I said, we didn't get here till June, and I think we even only came down like once or twice in June, and then had to stop again, and didn't come back till late July, mid-July.
And then it was so hot. Oh my gosh.
But then that's when we really kicked in overdrive, started doing some work, and one of the priorities was not the culverts. But we did manage to buy the culverts, get them on the property. So does that count as
a half?
A goal completing?
I think that's half a goal.
You guys decide. Is that half a goal? Let us know in the comments below. But yeah, we failed at this goal too. Just didn't have time.
2020 was quite the year.
Yes, it was.
All right, goal number 5.
What is goal number 5?
That was to clear for the chestnut orchard. We were looking at clearing up to 6 acres.
Yes.
So, how did we do?
Again, it was a time issue. By the time we started working, I did not have the time to do it myself. Time just got away from us. We did hire somebody to come out for 2 days, clear as much as he could for 2 days, which was probably a little over 1.5 acres. But that was a priority because if you remember back to early 2020, I was cold stratifying our first chestnuts.
That's right.
And also I'd ordered some chestnuts, and you can see the 2020 chestnut orchard progression in this video right here. Put the playlist up here, and if you want to watch it, you can. It goes from how we stratified our nuts all the way to planting our nuts and how we watered them.
So, although we did not have a goal, can I say this now?
Yep.
Although we did not have a goal of actually planting any chestnuts, we did get 66
trees planted.
66 trees planted. So we didn't get as much land cleared, but we got the trees planted. So I think that's a win.
Yes, I agree. Our original plan was to only do an acre anyway, but we was hoping to start in 2019, which that did not happen. So we got them started planted in 2020. We planted 66 trees, which is roughly a little over half an acre.
That's right.
So we're counting that as a win. And if you remember, a lot of our weekends from like July and August, after that, we was here every weekend, and it was working on the orchard.
Oh yeah, that was
our main priority.
That was a lot of work.
So let's see what the next goal was.
All right, our 6th and last 2020 goal was to build an elevated blind down by the road. It was the blind that we were going to use so the kids could have a friend come over and they could stay in the blind, so that our adult kids could sleep in the blind rather than in our small camper. Yep. So Joey, how did we do on the elevated blind?
All right, we're just going to talk about that right here because our road's pretty muddy today and we don't want to walk up there. We did not start that elevated blind. Again, we just ran out of time.
Well, then our priorities shifted.
Our priorities did shift.
What did we do instead?
We built a shed. Our priority went from that blind to a shed. And if you remember, the blind was supposed to double as a shed. Not really a shed, but a place to put a few things. But 2020 was such a mess, we decided we needed a shed. And you can probably see parts of that video right here. Should we show them the shed?
Let's show them the shed.
All right, let's take a walk over and take a look at it. Here's the shed that we built instead of the elevated blind on the road, like we had talked about in our
2020 goals?
2020 goals, that's it. So where do we go from here, hon? What was our next goal?
That was our 6 goals.
Oh, that was our 6 goals? So we failed on number 5 or number 6 too.
But we did do something extra.
Well, the shed was extra.
Something else extra.
We did build a elevated blind, and you can see part of that video right here. Not the original blind we wanted on the road, but since we had the shed, we figured we could make one for the back by the orchard.
Exactly. Once we cleared that land for the orchard, Joey couldn't help but see deer hunting in that cleared area.
Yeah.
So.
And we did see some deer.
Yes, we did.
Oh, we also saw something so cool. Me and Peyton was in the blind one morning, and we saw a bobcat come. Well, we had 2 deer feeding. No, 2 deer feeding in the winter rye that I threw down, and there was also a squirrel over there. And we saw a bobcat come hunched down, crawling toward the deer and the squirrel. The deer outsmarted him. They took off out of the field and went further into the field, and he ran the squirrel into the woods. So I don't think he got lunch that day. But it was really cool to see.
All right, so that is a recap of our 2020 goals.
That's it.
So thanks everyone for following along.
And we hope you have a great day.
And a great 2021.
It's got to be better than 2020, right? All right, guys. Later.